Hello and welcome to Business Sense. I'm Ralf Rivas. For today's episode, we have the CEOs of GoTyme, Nate Clarke and Abit Tinio. So thank you for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ralph.
So two CEOs, one company. So who does what? And how does it work exactly?
Yeah, so I think building and scaling a new bank is lots of work to do. So we're in no shortage on that. But roughly how we split it is Abit is focused on sales, operations, service, and some of the kind of second line governance functions. I do quite a bit of floating, but I would say where most of my time is on strategy, marketing, product, and finance. That's where most of it is. But yeah, I mean, it's very fluid.
And it's like you said, it's a different concept. You've heard it outside of the Philippines. I think here, for banks in particular.
Just one.
Yeah, just one, right? But it's a refreshing concept. We play off of each other's strengths. There's a lot of interaction going on. He picks my brain, I pick his brain. You can say we're angels on each other's shoulders or devil's advocates or whatever you want to call it.
I'm sure you have very interesting meetings. Okay, so I mean, with all these new developments in the economy, for instance, and financial inclusion, what excites you the most?
The opportunity. Absolutely the opportunity. I think there's so much the opportunity here. There's a big gap to fill in financial needs. Very innovative financial needs, in fact, with and offer innovative solutions, in fact. And I think we're ready to do that. We're raring to do that, and I think that's what customers are asking for, and that's what I'm excited about, honestly.
Nate.
Yeah, maybe to add a couple numbers to it, and this is what we're most excited about is while I think the existing banks and the e-wallets have done a great job in the last few years on raising the banked market, in particular in electronic payments, to kind of above 50%. The reality is the industry as a whole has a long ways to go on that higher level banking we call. So investments, affordable credit, insurance, and that kind of those next level banking products are what we're really, really excited for. So for example, less than 3% of the country has access to affordable bank credit, like a credit card, even less so on insurance and investments like stocks, bonds. So, we say the reason why we exist is to unlock that financial potential.
Yeah, but there's a lot of banks already, lots of traditional banks, and you have digital banks as well. Why do we need another account?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say the reason many people need it is that they don't have access to those higher value products yet. So it's still at under 3% penetration of adults, 5% depending on how you count it. And I think one way to paint the picture is that the top 5% of the country is very well served by the banking industry here. You're a preferred client. In that journey as a client, you're going to get very good service fast. You don't have to wait in long lines. You can call service and they pick up right away. But I think more importantly, you have access to all the products. So if you have 5 million pesos, you can put it in a savings account and earn 4 or 5%. But if you don't have access to that. The same thing goes with investments. If you don't have a minimum investment, or call it total relationship balance of millions of pesos, most banks here will not offer you stocks, bonds, etc. And the same goes for access to affordable credit for home loans, unsecured loans, same in insurance. So the reason why, even though there's lots of banks here, they're actually not providing a preferred experience or preferred next level products to everyone.
So how's the demand for these products? I mean, with the entry of GoTyme, how are you? I mean, what's the difference? I mean, of course, the other banks have been offering similar products already.
Perfect segue. When you talk about demand, we've been operating for less than 10 months. The reception has been astounding. In fact, we just broke the 1 million customer mark very recently. And that's just simply by addressing what customers are asking for. I want to make onboarding simple. I want to get my debit card in I don't want to wait for my debit card 7 to 10 days. I want it instantly. I want to talk to somebody if I have a problem, right? I want to rant. I want to converse. So there's that human. I think that human interface that, despite the fact that we're a digital bank, has made us different from everybody else, and I think that's what people are gravitating to.
So you're a digital bank, but what's unique about your model is that you have kiosks. So how many people are signing up for out of the over 1 million users, customers that you have, how many have signed up through the kiosks?
It's roughly 2/3, 1/3.
Oh, so there are more.
More, actually, surprisingly. I actually got asked this on a panel discussion at a conference.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great that you have this physical and digital model, but how much does physical contribute? And actually, it might be counterintuitive, but it's actually 2/3. And then 1/3 throughout, I would call a traditional digital bank model. So that's download the app and never see us in person.
That's an interesting phrase. Traditional digital. I mean, you'd think that digital is the new kid in town, but you're saying they're traditional.
That's kind of last year now.
Yeah. So I mean, why are they signing up on the kiosk? I mean, what's
You can't underestimate the reach, that the Gokongwei ecosystem has, and they're everywhere, from the supermarkets to the department stores to the drug stores, the airline.
so? Paano to? While people are waiting in line, for instance, you ask them if they want to open an account.
Exactly.
Ganun.
Nandun na sila, nag-shopping na sila, buying their groceries.
Might as well open.
Then they see it, di ba? Then they see it, then our bank ambassadors talk to them, tell them, hey, do you know if you're going to go shopping here, you could earn 3x the points? And then that kind of starts the conversation. So one thing leads to another. They open up the account very quickly, deposit into their account also over the cashier. Then they go take it shopping.
And they have their card.
Yes,
Right,
instantly.
Yeah, and actually to kind of show it off for the camera. The front of it, no number on the front.
Yeah.
But this kind of Visa debit card and BankNet card, we issue that in real time.
Yeah.
So kind of in under 5 minutes after speaking with the ambassador, who's in all of those stores, about 350 stores now, educate on the product, which, as Abid mentioned, we have a hook in the store, and that's it. If you pay with GoTyme, and we bind the existing Go Rewards account, so that's the 8 million customers from Cebu Pacific Loyalty and Robinsons. You're going to earn 3 times points. You can do points to cash. But actually, the whole process that usually you go to a branch, you fill out paper forms, you wait in line for a couple hours, then you have to come back maybe a week or two later to pick up your debit card. We compress that into 5 minutes. So there's very much why not try it once they're educated? But then obviously it's our job with the savings proposition, the shopping proposition, and great service and more products to bring them back over and over.
I mean, again, another thing that's interesting here is that when you talk about digital bankings, the usual question that I'll ask is, will we say goodbye to the branches in the future? But here you are saying not quite.
I think branches still have a role to play, but when you talk to the base of the pyramid, the masa, or even the new ones, the young ones who've just graduated, especially for Filipinos, there's still this nagging feeling that I don't want to trust a bot, or I don't want to go all digital. I want somebody to hold my hand, to walk me through it. I mean, the typical example is an old lady lines up on an ATM. Diba? He will call the guard, Kuya guard, patulong naman, di ako marunong mag-withdraw eh. And that wouldn't happen if the guard wasn't there. So that's kind of why people love our ambassadors. They can talk to the ambassador, make sure that what they're getting into is legit, is it easy to do, etc., and so on and so forth.
And someone to berate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They can pick up a phone, and we can guarantee you they're talking to somebody, not to a bot, not to an AI, but a live human.
So I hope they have your people have enough emotional emotional support, especially. I mean, it's
Yeah.
banking is really a stressful issue if your money gets lost somewhere along the way. Yeah.
Absolutely,
That
absolutely.
is.
And I think to build on that, I think if you strip everything away, the products and the apps and the branches, banking it's a game of and a business of trust, right? Because it's people's money, as you said. And I think where we have two unique advantages as GoTyme Bank is number one and probably biggest is the Gokongwei Group and the name behind it, right? They've already democratized telecoms, airline, snack foods, even originally. So there's a lot of trust equity there that I think we're very fortunate we have at GoTyme Bank. And the second kind of trust accelerator we have is in this physical distribution model where we have human interaction. So I think being able to know that if something goes wrong with my account or I get locked out, I forget my PIN, I can go to a store, find an ambassador, hopefully just ask a question, not berate them. That kind of elevates the trust, opposed to imagine a new brand and nowhere to go. So I think, we believe that yes, banking will decrease its reliance on branches and physical interaction over time, but human behavior changes much slower, right? We were talking about it this morning. I mean, technically, we could eliminate checks. We have the technology to, but
People still
still use it, right? So we believe 10 years from now, and this is something, for example, the BSP asked us when we were bringing this new model on kiosks. Do you expect for it to only last for a couple of years and then it goes away? And we said we wouldn't bank on that. Behavior change, maybe a decade.
So in this age of artificial intelligence, any particular trends that excite you the most, and what does it mean to be human in this age of AI?
Well, yeah, you're right. There's a huge trend on AI, and the advantages that it brings in terms of efficiency. I don't, as a digital bank ourselves, we're also taking advantage of that. We're going into pilots where we could not take the human away, but give the human a tool, AI, to become more efficient, to handle multiple scenarios, and then answer efficiently in a time that's required, diba? And surprisingly, it surprisingly, the people who are on the other end of the line, no? They're expecting, oh, but ang bilis nito sumagot, but ang galing, di ba? That's all because of what AI, or in this case ChatGPT, does for us.
So how to further that point? I mean, how do you use ChatGPT and the likes of generative AI in GoTyme?
In GoTyme, yeah. So far we're focusing on two areas, and I think taking a step back, I think we're very fortunate being a new player with a modern tech stack. We can actually adopt very quickly. There's actually an interesting study done that looked at all the different the 15 top industries in the world, and which they predict would adopt generative AI and AI fastest. Actually, banking came in dead last.
What do you think it is?
I think it's because they have large, very complex technology systems. There's also the risk, compliance, regulatory overlay. So I think we have that modern stack, and we're already, with Time Group and Time Bank in South Africa, we're already adopted it. I think we have a leg up, and we're going to invest heavily in this space. The two areas we're focused on initially are marketing and customer service. In both instances, and as a principle, we're using AI to boost productivity, not to replace the individual. So if I use the example of marketing, we're using it for content creation. So typically, someone will sit and generate lots of different options, for example, on a emailer or a tweet or an Instagram, Facebook message with a private instance, which is trained on our products and data in our history. We can rapid fire have that marketing professional generate much more variations of their kind of first draft, or even start with a first draft. So it kind of allows them to create more content faster, do more editing and tweaking along with the creative piece. The second way in service is that we're actually using it to draft responses to the customer. We've integrated an incoming message, whether it's email or in-app chat, into our instance of ChatGPT that's trained on our FAQs and our products. It proposes a response to the individual who's working. They can then edit, improve it. We don't want anything going directly to the customer unless it has the eyes of our customer service agents, make sure it's accurate, on brand. But it does boost their productivity significantly.
So you're talking about marketing and customer service. What about the other aspects, like who approves the loans? Will AI approve those eventually?
Well, actually, we haven't launched our lending products yet here, but in South Africa, we've been using AI, now not generative AI, to improve our credit scoring and our models for 5 years. And actually, I would say we are advanced in this space, but banks around the world are using AI to improve decision making on credit. So we'll definitely do that, but I wouldn't say that is a cutting edge thing like generative AI applications.
Yeah. Any other what's exciting? Anything that you're looking to apply? Any AI tools?
AI tools, I think more on the features that are coming out, more than the AI, because Nate has been talking about how we're using AI now, right? When we launched 10 months ago, we rolled out certain, what you call maybe table stakes. Right? What we're excited about are the products that are due to come. Very recently, we launched the capability to scan QR codes directly from your app, a merchant QR code from your app. We are a bank that's been very conscious and very purposive in how we interact with our customers, right? In fact, we are very active on 2 Facebook community pages. And our followers are actually telling us, hey, when are you going to do Bills Pay? And in fact, we're going to launch Bills Pay soon.
This week.
Yeah, this week.
Oh, this week.
End of this month, this week. And it's something that they've been looking forward to and waiting for, and we're going to roll that out very quickly with X number of billers, I believe about 13 or 15, and then grow that successively. So things like that. Then they've also been asking for lending products, investments, etc.
Yeah.
So how soon will those products be launched?
We're going to pilot lending by the end of the year. 2 products. First one to small businesses, so merchant or small business lending. And then the second one is linked to our payroll proposition. So the consumer lending won't be kind of large scale this year. That'll only be last year. And even in general, our lending is more of I call it a test and learn pilot phase this year. And then on investments, that's the other big chunk. If we're lucky, we'll get a pilot in by the end of the year. But otherwise, we'll definitely be in by Q1 next year.
So everything's moving so fast, lots of products to look forward to. You guys hitting the 1 million mark, and the 2 million. When's the 2 million?
End of the year.
Yeah.
How's it gonna happen? Another ambitious target, or maybe you kind of set the bar a little low at the beginning.
No, I wouldn't say we set the bar low. No, but we're very surprised with the reception.
Because the demand's higher.
The demand is higher. Number 2, because we started seeing this early demand, right? Originally, I'll give you an example. We thought that we would end up with just 400 kiosks by end of this year. We've now upped that to 450. Original design was really just to roll out the kiosks in the Gokongwei Group ecosystem, but now we're seeing there's a demand outside of the ecosystem as well, which we've pushed out there. I think all of those have started contributing to the exponential growth.
So how competitive is the digital banking space? I mean, we already have the traditional banks out there that have been there since time immemorial. new banks, e-wallets. So how competitive is this space?
So I think it's interesting. I think the most competitive point we were at with the other digital banks was attracting talent early on when we were building the team, because everyone had just got a license at about the same time.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of
Poaching here and there.
looking for talent in similar places, right? But actually, a lot of us are sitting in relatively different lanes. There's some overlap, obviously. But we don't look specifically to the other digital banks as our primary competition. I think it's more the large incumbent banks. So I think where our strategy, I won't speak on behalf of all the other digital banks, is a little bit different, is that we have aspirations of becoming the biggest bank in the country. So we more see our direct competition to being the large traditional banks.
So what's gonna take you there? To be, to be right at the level of the.
I think going back to what we were chatting about earlier, it's bringing that preferred experience to everyone. So if we can stay true to our promise, we're going to give everyone, regardless of how much money they deposit with us, regardless of what their job is, a preferred experience that's similar to what is only today reserved to the top 5%. I think that'll take care of itself. In terms of emphasis, we're very much emphasizing customer experience and service. So we believe that the sustainable differentiator in banking is actually the product works every time. It's a sleek, simple, convenient experience. And if something does go wrong in those few occasions, which are hopefully very far between, someone is right there, a human's there to respond immediately and let you rant or ask questions, right? We think that's how we end up kind of ending up at the top.
Preferred doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
Preferred can be simple, sleek, elegant. So cut down the number of steps to onboard, cut down the number of steps to complain, cut down the number of steps to pay or reverse a transaction. So all of that, I think, is what preferred banking means.
What are the pain points so far, if you can enumerate?
Let me start with this.
Yeah.
So I think undoubtedly, digital banks run at a faster pace. And where there's some lag is definitely with regulation and with agencies. It becomes now the responsibility of digital banks who are moving faster and experiencing these new things to go back, to take a step back also and consult and collaborate with the regulators. We can tell the regulators, hey, this particular memo or particular process should no longer, it's outdated, should no longer apply. We feel that the new way around it, or the new way to move forward rather, is this. And then we consult. So it's a slow process, but I think it's all for the good, all for the good, right?
Let's talk about cybersecurity. Any issues so far that you think needs more attention?
I think this is obviously, because getting back to that trust, this is a massive priority for us. We're investing heavily in that. I believe one of the advantages we have against the incumbents is that we had the advantage of building from scratch, leveraging what we learned in South Africa, of course, but it's a modern stack with less applications, right? So the number of applications that a mature bank has is thousands, right? And every application or every system naturally has to be protected. So I think because we have getting back to simplicity, and everything is in Amazon Web Services, hosted in the cloud, we actually have call it a smaller castle to defend. Even if there's increasingly faster growing how many people are in the castle, it's actually a more simple structure to defend, if that makes sense.
Now, I want to go back to the issue on AI. Should Filipinos be worried that it will take jobs away?
I think so. A couple of things with AI. The way we're approaching it. I don't think it's going to take jobs away. In fact, I think it's going to be complementary to the job. It's going to make you a better marketer. It's going to help you create much faster and then tweak also much faster. Where I think AI becomes questionable is that if it becomes too good, will it sound more human than human? I guess that's a point where, as AI also grows, we have to be very discerning. It's also our responsibility to educate the customer and that to tell them, hey, you're interacting with a human or you're interacting with an AI service, just so that walang sisihan later on, di ba? Walang doubt.
And you can set the expectations.
Correct.
What about the implications for financial inclusion? Any bright spots in AI? Any threats, for instance?
I mean, we kind of strongly believe, similar to technology in general, that it's like the ultimate equalizer, right? It's going to make it more affordable for us to provide more and more complex products. Therefore, the entry level or like the minimum investment size, the minimum credit we issue should go down and down and down because that cost to serve will go down. So it should be just another layer of an advantage to drive financial inclusion. And maybe kind of tying back to the question on employment, what we have told our internal employees is that we don't believe you should be worried about AI replacing your job. But what you should be worried about is that if we collectively and you individually don't lean in and learn AI and leverage it, you'll be replaced by someone who does. And I actually think that actually applies even at a country level, at an individual level, a company level, and a country level, right? So how well us as individuals lean into AI, which is going to be transformative, how well as a company we adopt it, and even as a country, I guess, macro, I think will make us more or less competitive against our peers or countries. Or
I think AI also has certain huge advantages for an archipelago like us. No? We have so many dialects. And people think that, when you're talking AI, it's really just English. No? But it learns what you feed it.
it's amazing.
If you feed it Visayan, if you feed it Ilonggo, if you feed it Waray, it'll most likely learn it. No? And Tagalogs like ourselves, if you're going to talk regionally, hey, okay, then I can help answer in a language or in a dialect that's more comfortable for somebody who's trying to get into GoTyme, right? So I think that's some of the possibilities, exciting possibilities around the use of AI.
But your ambassadors will stay in the kiosks.
Absolutely. And we tested that.
Yes.
What happens when they're there versus not?
Yes.
And the results were scary in favor of the ambassador being there forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically, the kiosk originations go to near zero.
Correct.
When you remove the ambassador. And that's because this is a new technology. It's intimidating probably, but add a human touch and that kind of trust, we're getting kind of 10, 12 a day.
And ambassadors are there not just to talk about the product, right? They're there to assist you. So simple examples like, I don't know how to place my ID on the scanner. And then the ambassador says, ma'am, you have to move it to the top left corner and then hold it. Oh, that cuts down the transaction at the kiosk because there's an ambassador to tell you the right thing to do, right?
Now, final question, any prospects? What's your outlook about the economy and the business overall? Can you give us a hint on what's coming in the next couple of months or next year?
Start with the economy and Philippines. I think as a Filipino, you're better placed to talk about the Philippines.
No, I think I'll take my cue from the BSP. Right? The BSP, I think, has stabilized the interest rates. They're not actively following the Fed anymore. Right? I think they've stopped there because they see that the inflation is more or less controlled. Now, if that being the case, if that's the scenario, then I guess that's good news for the economy in general. That also leads to confidence. No? I think for Filipinos, no? Maybe that'll lead to more spending. Then the need for more. Oh, okay. If I have extra money, can I open an account? Can I create new products? Traditional banks before the pandemic focused on commercial lending, which left a huge gap for MSMEs
Yeah.
and consumers.
Yeah.
And now that we're seeing that with economy restarting, this is a perfect time to launch these new products, which Nate is going to go into it.
So yeah, I mean, what about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think first I'd say thank you to all of you out there who are part of the first 1 million.
Yes.
A massive, massive thank you. And for those of you who are not yet, I think we are still relatively young as a brand. We're under no illusion, right? But now, as our head of marketing says, we're going in a different phase. Kind of, we're establishing the brand from 0 to 1 million, but now we're scaling 1 million to 10 million. So I think I'm quite confident GoTyme Bank has become much more of a household name over the next year and even further. And really, our commitment is to bring next level products to all the consumers to unlock your financial potential. And the focus there will again be savings, investments, insurance, and probably most importantly, affordable credit and lending.
And yeah, well, let's see and let us know. I mean, what's gonna be the latest, and looking forward to hearing you announce the 2 million mark, the 3 million
Absolutely.
Before Christmas.
before Christmas, and the 3 million mark will be.
I'm not
That's
won't go that far.
But again,
Maybe 5 million by next Christmas.
yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. So thank you so much for your time, Nate, Abet. Thank you. So this has been another episode of Business Sense. I'm Ralf Rivas. Thanks for watching.